An alert for parents with small children. Starting tomorrow morning, a new law goes into effect about child car seats. So new age requirements will take effect then.
Yeah, infants and children must be in rear-facing car seats until they're at least 2 years old or until they outgrow the height and weight limits on the seat. The second law has children must be in front-facing car seats until they're at least 5 years old. Joining us this morning to talk more about it and with the upcoming law changes, attorney with Michigan Auto Law, Josh Tarabello. Good morning.
Good morning.
I think as a couple of parents here, it's easy to get mixed up with where the laws have been. Talk to us about the importance of just making sure what these changes do.
So the changes are actually really important because it's actually in line with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, which says that if you follow these laws, essentially you can reduce the serious injury or death by up to 50%, as long as you're following what the new laws are going to be.
And that's the main thing, yeah.
And as a former police officer, you know, even a lot of times we don't know what the law is, and even checking the height and weight requirements. So for parents, it's even more confusing, and even learning how to use the safety belts or safe car seats or
just installing them properly.
Yeah.
Well, actually, before April 2nd, the law actually didn't specify ages or anything. And, you know, to your point about installing everything correctly, there's actually, through the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration, there's actually specific sites and locations that will teach you how to properly install the car seats and make sure that they're put in correctly.
We always appreciate when fire departments do this for free as well. It's always nice. Talk to me about the other change that is for kids can't ride in the front seat until they're age 13?
Correct. So before, it didn't actually specify when. So kids cannot be in the front seat now until they're at least the age of 13. And after 13, they can be in the front seat, but they have to wear a seatbelt. Before, it didn't actually specify that. They could have been in the front seat essentially as soon as they were no longer in a booster before.
Interesting.
So that's going to pose a huge challenge for kids and teenagers. Right. And so educating parents on this is going to be something that they got to bring down to the kids. You know, it's going to be a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing is that your child is in the back seat until they're at the age of 13. They always have to be buckled. Before, it didn't even specify that. So they need to be essentially in the back in a booster seat until age 8 or until they outgrow the requirements, but they can never go up into the front seat until age 13. And they can never be without a seatbelt.
Yeah, always a seatbelt. I think I always looked at it as when the seatbelt fit them properly was maybe when they would be able to do that. Where can people go if they want to read up more on this or pay closer attention, get better educated with this?
Well, you can certainly go to our webpage, www.michiganautolaw.com, but it's also going to be, the information is going to be through the state of Michigan. It's going to be listed there. You know, there's, the laws are going to be specified going forward on there, but we're going to have a lot of information on our webpage.
By the way, Darnell brought up a point about getting pulled over. Can you, if you're not doing it correctly and you get pulled over, what are the penalties?
So the penalties are actually relatively insignificant, which to me is very surprising. Essentially, you can be responsible for $10 or potentially $20, depending on which offense it is, and then potentially some court costs. It's not a misdemeanor, which to me really doesn't it's not aligned with the purpose of this, which is child safety.
So you think it should be tougher penalties?
Absolutely.
And then people will pay attention.
Absolutely. The ironic thing is that you can get a higher penalty for simply not wearing a seatbelt, but a lower penalty for not making sure that your child is appropriately fastened within the car.
And there are agencies that will donate car seats for parents who struggle with or don't have the financial means.
Absolutely. But the important thing, though, is that you always have to stay up on any potential recalls. Because, you know, a child seat that was regulated 3 years ago may have been recalled for some reason, or if you're getting a used one, you need to make sure about the history of it, because if it was involved in a collision before, it could be damaged. It may not work the same. So you always need to make sure that you're following if there's any potential recalls and using the safest car seats, booster seats, things like that.
Josh Tarabello with Michigan Auto Law. We appreciate the insight.
Well, thank you very much.
Very important topic, yeah.